Good day. How are you today? And we are back again today for what are you going to do with that lemon? And I just have a great opportunity today to talk to one of my wonderful friend, sister, spiritual sister. She sends me wonderful scriptures. She sends me wonderful songs that I'm not familiar with in the mornings and in the evenings. So I just thank you, Laurie. So Laurie, I just love you and thank you. We're gonna have an opportunity because I didn't have a clear understanding of what your ministry. Now I understand with you and your husband Greg what y'all do at your church, but the ministry that you are caretaker over. I want people to know, because when I finally came to your event last week, I understood. I kind of got it. The light bulb got, and it made me know, even with opening doors for women, you can talk to people, you can share with people, you can talk to people. And sometimes it's one particular event where the light bulb comes on and they understand what your ministry and your mission and your vision is clearly about. So they can see, well, how can I contribute? How can I help? So today I'm going to pass you the lemon. I'm going to let you introduce your full name and the name of your ministry. And I'm going to let you share the lemon, because the lemon today is about children. And we need to understand how we can help children, prevent them from going to foster care, prevent and just be assistance to family when they're going through things. So
absolutely. Well,
thank you, Laurie.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Miss Sandra, for having me. Yes, my spiritual sister and friend. I just love that we get to do this together. My name is Laurie Key, and I am the chapter director for Safe Families for Children, DFW. And what we do is we are foster care prevention as well as family preservation. So we're rethinking foster care. So I love that you brought up and mentioned, like, how do we do this, right? How do we do this big thing and rethink foster care? Well, we do it by prevention, right? And because foster care has been such a huge, I want to say that organization that system has been embedded right in our society. Well, what if we can prevent it? What if we can walk with families before neglect, before child abuse, before any of that? Also with families to, where we live in community. We do what the church is called and mandated to do, is to step in, walk alongside the family, provide them with a circle of support with, fully vetted and trained volunteers, and we're just living in community. Say, for example, we're in the Como community right now. Well, what are the stats? What are we doing as a church and community on the prevention side? Usually we step in, right, as the church and the body when the families are in foster care, right, or the kids go in foster care, and the parents are mandated to follow this case plan, right? And it's like, we can probably hardly, how can I say this? When we're given a plan, right? We're given a plan to do something, and I'll use a word that Dr. Quayletta Govan uses. We walk a chalk line, right? We're asking these families and these parents to walk a chalk line, and they're unable to probably do half of those things on that case plan, right?
How do I do it?
Right. How do I do it? And then I have to do it alone, and I'm expected to do it alone, and I'm expected to know all of these things when I haven't even been taught or trained or given the tools to be able to do this. Because we're looking at generational things that are happening. The family's divided. There's a lot of single parents. There's a lot of single moms. There's a lot of single dads, right? And then the children, they are in this cycle, right? Okay, so I hope I'm explaining this. Okay,
you're doing
so
great.
Okay, good, because there's a lot of moving pieces, and I feel like this is such a life-on-life opportunity for us to do in the community. So we partner with the church in the community. We are training the volunteers, discipleship, equipping them to walk with families who are in crisis before foster care is involved, before the children are forcibly removed, and CPS, then are involved in the parent's life, right? So let's say, for instance, you have a mom that's coming into Opening Doors for Women in Need, and she is in need of reunification. We want to walk with her and provide her with volunteers and circle up around her so that her children can reunify, right? So there's already system in place, right?
Okay.
But what we want to do is prevent it from happening again. So there's that part of that prevention, but there's also, let's prevent it from ever happening, right? Like if we were to take this system and we wouldn't even need foster care anymore. We wouldn't even need that system. But what about, what about preventing it altogether, right? So we have to start somewhere.
Well, I heard you say you partner with the church. So how easy is that for you? Because since COVID, the structure and foundation of church has kind of dwindled down, and people aren't going to church like they usually do. And so, is that an easy navigation for you, working with the churches? Or are you finding good resources for churches to partner, or is that a struggle for you? Is that one of the top struggles, getting churches? And then once you find a church, finding reliable volunteers to participate in this program?
Absolutely, and I think it's just like with volunteerism is down. I think across the board. But partnering with churches, I mean, they're in recovery too, right?
Yes,
they're
yes,
bouncing
yes,
back from
yeah.
COVID. We all are,
It's
and I think
taken a long time.
absolutely. But with Safe Families, what we can do is we want to, in that partnership with the church, is help equip their church members, right? Their body in this community program, right? This community movement to say, we're going to disciple you, we're going to train you, we're going to provide you with resources, where there's online training, there's in-person trainings. We walk alongside to equip the community, equip your body so that you can minister to those who are coming into your community or already in your community that need help.
Probably already there. Okay, so let's make it clear. Let's be clear. What is the name of the nonprofit? And tell me a little bit about the nonprofit, the structure of that.
We're Safe Families for Children, DFW, and we partner with churches and community to train and vet volunteers as a host family, a family friend, a family coach, and resource friends. And then in the church community, in the body, we do also equip and train somebody to be a ministry lead. But they're the point person in their community that's also helping recruit volunteers in their community who are interested in being a part of this circle to support families.
Okay. So I just want to make sure, I want everybody to be clear on that. And so if they want to contact, say an outreach minister is hearing this, our YouTube channel today, and they want to get involved and they want to connect with you. So how do you tell them to connect with you?
Well, they can contact me, Lori Key, at lkey@safefamilies.net. lkey@safefamilies.net. I'm the chapter director. Or they can contact Amber White, our church engagement coordinator. She also is our volunteer recruiter as well, and she's amberw@safefamilies.net. amberw@safefamilies.net.
Okay, so let's take a scenario.
Okay.
So we understand what child would fit this criteria. So give me a scenario of what incident would happen, particular incident, and then how that would work.
Okay, so we get a lot of our referrals from the community. And sometimes the families are reaching out to us because they're online Googling supports and services in the community, and we get a request for request for help document. They're going to tell us on that document what their need is. And then what we do is we call the family back and we provide an intake. So when we walk through the intake, the family is calling us, and they're absolutely brave and courageous, right, to be able to even do this, because this is all prior to CPS involvement. So they're taking a risk too, right?
Yeah, for embarrassment.
Absolutely.
So how do you make them feel comfortable?
Right.
When they're making that when they've given you their information and they're seeking help, how do you make them and your team make them feel comfortable with this is okay and we're going to help you without being afraid to report CPS? Because I think in the community they're taboo if you call and they're going to separate the children. So how do you make them comfortable?
So at intake, we have a conversation with the families and we explain what we do and who we are. And at that point, we give them the opportunity to make the choice and decision to see if this is a right fit for them and their family.
Yeah.
So we absolutely equip and empower them to make that choice and decision for their family. And when they say, yes, that I would like to be a part of this, and when we're ready, if we host, right? Because hosting is optional. It just gives the family a reprieve, right? It's like that respite while they work on stabilizing their home and their family. And of course, we know that there's a lot of myriad of reasons of why we need stability. And we may not have family support or a safe family support for the children to go to, right? So sometimes, why there's neglect and abuse is because, we leave the kids with a stranger, or we have to leave the kids, in the home alone because we don't have that family support or that strength in the community. And so moms and parents are faced with choices and decisions that, number one, I promise you, they don't want to do. But sometimes they're left with no choice, right? So the family, the parents, then they get to decide if this is a fit for them. If it is, and say, we're ready for a hosting, what we do is we have a connections team. We have a connections team that will reach into our vetted and trained and fully approved volunteers and let the community know that we have this opportunity for them to serve. When they say yes to the opportunity, then our connections team further takes that next step further, and they get together with our family coach supervisor, our church engagement coordinator, and they get together with the family and the host family, and they have an introduction.
Oh, I love that. So what about, say it's just a single mom with 3 or 4 or 5 kids, and she's kind of depressed and down. Is that something she could reach out and say, I just need a break. I just need 2 or 3 days, or I just need the weekend. Could you help with that?
Absolutely.
Oh, I love that.
Because that's a prevention piece, right?
Yeah, prevention.
That's the prevention piece. That's the prevention side of it. So when she needs rest and reprieve and relief, because don't you?
Oh, yeah.
I do.
I'll run away.
Okay.
I'll run away in a minute.
So, right. So we get to walk alongside of the parents, the mamas, the families, right? And say, okay, here's a date night. Here's a day that you can take a bath. And I say that those are like, on the other side of, because that's community.
Right.
That's giving people the opportunity to say, it's okay to take a bath. It's okay to breathe. And
without little kids knocking on
right,
the door.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's because we're so relational in that aspect. Because once we get involved in the family's life and in the children's life, then it's just like going over to Auntie Sandra's house or Auntie Lori's house. And I'm saying, hey, we're just going to go hang out for the weekend and see that it's that community, that relational side of it. Yes, we have to walk through that prevention piece and do that triage when the family calls and says that they need help. We are there to walk with them step by step. And again, it's nurturing, it's comforting, it's saying, hey, we've been here, we've done that, we understand.
And you can do it.
And you can do it.
So what kind of training, so you do workshops and training for the parents?
So,
or do you do any of that, or most of that's for your volunteers to coach them, to prepare them?
I love this piece. Okay, so we get to partner with community partnerships and resources. So we have family coaches that are on staff, and that they're either licensed social workers or just we do. It's kind of like that case management, lifestyle management, and then we find those community resources to partner with to give them the resources that they need in their community, right? So we are always constantly partnering and looking for those partnerships. They're going to walk alongside the families. Like, it could be in financial, it can be in re-entry, it could be lifestyle management. What else do we do, right?
Just connect them.
Yeah, it's connecting families and community. It's their spiritual, their mental. What do the children need? Maybe even summer camps. Even connecting them to the body of Christ in their communities, right? Here are these churches, and even here's another side to this. We're probably all, we've been in reentry for a while.
Yes.
And we have the conversation like, well, there's probably a family member somewhere in our community, right? Or in our own family that has been touched by the justice system, right?
Oh, yes.
Well, it's the same thing with foster care. So let's let's equip our families to be able to support the families in their own community when this happens. So that, you know, we are not touched by the system, the foster care system, that maybe we prevent also them from being touched by, you know, the justice system too, and them getting involved. So we start in those early onset years, and then again equip the parents, and they're empowered, and that stabilization in their lives, it changes the trajectory of the family, because we know that the enemy has come to kill, steal, and destroy.
Yes.
And he has come after the family. So let's bring the family back together.
Well, I got a call the other day. Well, actually, it was Dr. Hall called and about one of her clients, and the family needed food. You know, and then another referral, they called, and the kids were stealing because they needed food. So I think this is a good thing to have that connection, and then make that family aware of. So you don't have to do that. Here's a resource for food. It's available to you once a month, or once a week, or once every 2 weeks, and things like that. So if you had a wish list, and I'm sure you do, what is your wish list? Is it pretty long, or is it short?
Well, it's funding.
Oh, that's everybody.
Okay, I mean, you know, that's at the top, right? Because we all need funding and donors to support the mission, so that we can employ, you know, the people.
Yeah, you're operating. So
our operating, right? Right, operational, but also volunteers. Volunteers, you know, heart and passion for families, for children, for community, for really, you know, stepping in and changing the trajectory of how we even think about prevention and foster care, to really change that mindset, right? So, and then, you know, community partners. Community partners where, you know, we're locking arms, and we're this army of God, and we have, right? You know, we have, just like, you know, Dr. Hall calling, we know who to call. We know who to call. We know who's going to fulfill the need. And if they don't know who, they're going to find out who will, right?
We'll probably know.
So, you know, I mean, because we are a volunteer movement, you know, our overhead is not as high, you know, as, you know, if we had.
How many paid staff do you have in DFW?
So right now in DFW, we have 1 full-time and 2 part-time.
And you work with AmeriCorps.
We did.
You did?
We did. We did have AmeriCorps Vistas, but we were able to hire one on a part, you know, bring her on, because her contract was ending. And then, you know, so but AmeriCorps was great to get us started and get that foundational piece under us to, you know, to push the social media and do the newsletters and do all of, you know, get all of that groundwork, you know, done, so that we can, you know, people will know who we are and what we do in the communication of it, because there are so many moving parts and pieces to what we do. But if you think about it, it's what we're doing already. We're already doing this. So we can equip your church, we can equip the people in your community, we can equip, you know, the body of Christ and the saints. And this, I see this as an amazing discipleship opportunity to walk alongside the churches, to walk in their healing, to walk in their purpose, and to restore family and community.
Yes, I love that. So I think from what my knowledge, I know a lot of times with the foster care system, those kids, they are at risk when you look at the statistics, and then also they're at risk because when they turn 18, then the government just says bye, see ya. So hopefully those volunteers, once they're connected to those children, they can follow them through if they do go through the foster care system and connect them. But I know your main key is prevention, to keep them out of the foster care system. So what else would you like to share with us? Because we got I'm just, you know, I feel like this is, and I do believe that this is the time for us as the body of Christ to really rise up and step up.
we have been doing this work for a long time, and I believe that the Lord has shown us throughout the years, through reentry and all the housing programs, and what's missing.
What's missing?
What's missing? And I believe that this is the missing piece. I believe that this is the missing piece, and I'm sure we can give example after example after example, but family's the piece. Community's the piece. It's restoration. It is doing as the church what we're supposed to do, and not handing it over, to a system that, is not unified, right? They're just doing the best that they can do with what they have, but as people of faith and hope, we can share that with families to bring that restoration, that restoration piece, and that piece of hope and that piece of love, is that we're here in community and we're walking this out and we're living this out regardless of our situation, right? Mm-hmm. We're here.
Well, I'm going to give a challenge out to the churches, because for me, I don't know how many churches, what your struggle is with that, which is getting the churches to come in together now. It's time. We're recuperating, but it's time for the churches to come together, and then maybe someone that's hearing this, and you want to be the lead person in your church to take this to your pastor, your outreach pastor, and say, I want to get involved with this program, and I want to be able to help, and can I be the person that Lori needs to work with to make that happen at your church? So I'm just saying, we give a charge to the churches, because we have tons of churches, and so if you're not doing some kind of outreach, some kind of community partnership, then you're lacking in what God has commissioned us to do. And Pentecost Sunday is this Sunday, and at Pentecost, remember at Pentecost Sunday, that's when Jesus gave the disciples the charge to go out in the community and to teach the gospel. But also, these children need love. We need to protect our children, but we're lacking. We're lacking in the community. We're lacking in protecting our children, and the government is. It's not. I think it's more toward the community, mm-hmm. like you said, to rescue. And a lot of these governments are giving the grants and mm-hmm. things if we can get them, so we can support the operations, because they know they can't do it. And some of the social workers in the system, they're overrun, they get burnt out. If you look at Child Protective Services, those case managers turn over and over and over and over. So I think I'm so glad that I understand. So I went to your fundraiser. Mm-hmm. Last week, 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
And so I got the light bulb came on for me. I told you the light bulb came on, because I see you all the time. I'm talking to you. We're running, passing. Everybody's trying to do their mission. Everybody's trying to do what they're doing. And I finally understood, and some of your volunteers came up and shared how they had brought children into their home and took care of them when they were needed. And that was so beautiful. And then hearing one of your graduates talk about, is that what you call them, a graduate? One of the young ladies that had went through, and one of the mothers, well, actually she was a mother that had went through, and y'all had helped her, and now she has her own home, and talking about how she talked about her, and she was very shy, and that was beautiful. So, Lori, any last words that you'd like to put out there?
I would just like to piggyback off of what you just said. She graduated, right? But she graduated to the next level of her life. She overcame some barriers and some challenges. And in the relationship that she has with her host family and her family coach and her family friend, now they're still in relationship. It doesn't end.
It doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away, right? Like we work in systems and programs sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. And then when they have completed this and that's checked off, and we completed this and that's checked off, and they've done this and they've done that, then the program ends, but we don't end. We move to a natural relationship. Mm-hmm. So when the family, we've gone through triage, we've walked through some of those, the barriers and overcoming those life challenges, and they've got some life skills, and they're ready to be in that natural relationship. They just transition to that natural relationship, and they stay in relationships just like you and I do.
Yes.
Just like our family does. And so there's no end to it. we have Christmas together, we have Thanksgiving together, we go to the park together, we do life together, we have coffee together, you know, whatever it may be, just like some of the normal things that we do in life that makes it, we're just not like just a program. But, and it's not just transactional and I may or may not ever see you again. We choose to be in this relationship. We choose to be in life and we choose to be in community, as hard as it is sometimes. And, you know, it is. It's like, you know, our families do the brave thing and decide, you know, I want to do this life on life. And that gets vulnerable and transparent. And sometimes, you know, it gets messy. But, you know, that's the gospel. When healing comes and transformation comes, healing comes, hope comes, and we see our stronger communities. We will have stronger communities.
Okay.
And a stronger church.
Yes.
And a stronger church.
Because we're encouraging them to go to church, and some of these hosts take them to church and introduce them to their church home, right?
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Laurie. I love you, girl. I love you so much.
Thank you for this opportunity.
So stay tuned, and I want you to subscribe now and hit that button, subscribe, and continue to follow us. What we're doing is we're talking about some of the things that they're not talking about in the church, and we're putting it out there so you can understand what the needs are in our community, because we love our community and we want to be able to have resources and help, and we want to educate you on what's going on in our community. So thank you for tuning in and continue to follow us. Thank you.